Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Knowing the mindset of our people, how has that changed what you do at Day Square?
Right, here is the reality. Here's what you need to consider and make changes to your business plan, your concept, or perhaps you're not even thinking about market. You're not thinking about whether or not you're overpriced. And having those types of conversations or exchanges may not be as cuddly as one would like them to be. But still within a professional format and structure, we must be honest and upfront and objective in our assessment and communicating those things to you. And so sometimes, no, it's not often taken well. And I think that as we continue to do that, but as we continue to infuse the way that we do it with other business entrepreneurs who've been through it, so they can tell you themselves, as we continue to infuse it with mentors or successful business owners who've been involved in our most current Sept series, and I'll let Phyllice talk about that, you tend to get a different response. And so that is starting to shape a bit differently than how initially, yes, you do get them more guarded, more defensive, as opposed to, I understand what you're saying. How do I change this? Thank you for your help.
Yeah.
And
Phyllice?
I think a mentorship relationship shouldn't be seen as one person dictating to the other person.
Yes.
We're simply giving you some advice for you to consider, and in the end, you make the final decision. So, for example, maybe about a few weeks back, a client wanted to work with a particular attorney. And I said, are you sure that this person is available to assist you? Yes. Send the payment to this attorney. I'm going to work with them. And sure enough, they came back, some weeks later and with the attorney saying to them, look, it seems like your matter is very pressing. I'm going to send you a refund. And so much time was wasted. But the thing is, they needed to learn that for themselves. Yes. You can give the advice, but sometimes as a mentor, you have to give, the person space enough to prove you right or wrong. And sometimes what then happens is once they've seen, okay, well, my mentor was right in this instance, that builds that trust. And so they more readily believe, future advice given.
Wow. All right. So, we know in addition to the loans, you also, some of the companies you work with offer equity stake. I think you have a specific term for it. But how receptive are entrepreneurs in that, having somebody take a stake in their company?
Initially, entrepreneurs were not interested in equity funding. So we needed to educate them about our partner, Bahamas Entrepreneurial Venture Fund. And so once we let them know what, every partnership agreement is different. But generally speaking, your business may not have to pay dividends for the first 2 years. Only in the third year, if the business is profitable, there can be an option to buy back the shares after a period of time. And, the benefit of working along with Bahamas Entrepreneurial Venture Fund is that they will assign an advisor to work along with you. So you're not just benefiting from the funding aspect, but you're basically getting management oversight, somebody to help you with taking the business further. Another thing that entrepreneurs underestimate is strategic partnerships. Your, advisor at Access Accelerator or a venture fund, they can pick up the phone and place a call, get you a meeting, and who knows, you walk out of the door with a big contract. So it's all of those things that come together to help you decide, okay, what do I get from this particular investor? Is it just funding alone? Do I get their expertise? Do I get their partnerships or their network? It's all of those things. And once you help people to realize the benefits, and I think COVID also highlighted equity funding, the benefits in the sense that you didn't have the pressure of making monthly loan payments during COVID if you had chosen the equity route.
Wow. Can you say how many companies have gone this direction?
Well, so far, 11 companies.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually, I'm impressed by that, actually. That's more than I would have
Really?
thought. Yeah, just knowing the nature of our people.
But you're not wrong about that. And we actually have a session coming up
Okay.
as part of the Sept program to talk about
Today, actually.
Yes, there you go. To talk about equity versus
Debt funding.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so tell us about that. What can people expect with that?
So it's going to be a debate between Edison Sumner and our very own Leo Rolle.
Okay.
And I can just say that Leo is arguing the point of debt funding. And I think he has like a tombstone already created.
Like
So
an
it's going to be
actual
very,
tombstone.
very dramatic.
All right.
So definitely, if you're in the area between 7 and 8
Yes.
at our headquarters on Gladstone Road, or you can join virtually if you're in the Family Islands. Just go to our website, www.accessaccelerator.org, and tune in tonight for that lively session.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, do you think there are any companies for which it won't work? Equity funding, like no, maybe not for you all, but or is it?
I think what we do is in our assessment with the client and of their business, we then help them determine which avenue to go. So obviously we would provide, hey, here are even our grant programs. Here is our funding scope, right? Whether it's grants, whether it's a particular program for a particular industry, because we have our tourism-related programs, the guaranteed loan, and then, we have the equity portion. So we could very well say to the client, here's what we can offer.
Right.
And sometimes it may be a combination, right? So I know that, Phyllice and her team to assist clients may render a combination of grants, guaranteed loan, and equity.
All right.
Yeah.
And two, sometimes it's not about what business is right for equity funding, but think of it as a marriage, because some investors, because they have more expertise in retail, they tend to gravitate towards entrepreneurs who want to set up businesses in something they understand, versus another investor may be more interested in, let's say, tourism-based businesses or whatever. So it just depends on matching the entrepreneur with the investor who's interested in that particular industry, and also if that investor has not already invested in your competitor.
Okay. All right. All right. So you mentioned it. You mentioned COVID, and we know we've had Dorian. It's been a challenging 4 years. So, do you have a failure rate? Are there some? Can you point to that? What do you say? What happens there? What do we look at?
So,
and is that on you, or is that on?
We're all curious about how many businesses have failed, right? And typically you would say within the first year to 5 years, it's highly likely that you would fail, right? How we look at it, and a good colleague of mine, which I agree with her, sitting to my right, would say, how do we measure our success? And so we have anticipated that not all businesses that we support and assist will be successful.
Right.
And how do we define success, right? So it could very well be that entrepreneur who went through the process, who was able to flesh out their concept, who was able to at least get started. That can be a degree of success. It is a degree of success. We can say that another small business or entrepreneur was able to go all the way, established or even did an extension phase of their business, expansion phase of their business. And to them, that's success, which is great. We've also had instances where we've supported clients, entrepreneurs, businesses who have done all that they have done. And perhaps, they're stuck.
Right.
Whether there are equipment challenges, whether there are other supply chain challenges because of how they get their products and their equipment, and they just can't carry it any further, and so they need to make a decision. So we've had varying success stories. We've also had some, as you may define it, as failures. But I also say that to those entrepreneurs who would say, well, I've failed, you've only failed if you stop trying, right? So it becomes extremely difficult. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy task. You know, carrying on is not an easy task. And so sometimes, yes, you're going to hit those bumps in the road, but you got to be able to then pivot, right? At some point, you got to be able to pivot. For us, yes, we have some clients, you know, through our guaranteed loan that may be, as we call it, critical need or concern. And so we're still working through with those clients as well as the financial institution to try to avoid that failure.
Yeah.
But you know, there may have been one or two where we just have not been able to help any further, or there may have been where, okay, listen, at this point, let's move forward, perhaps in a different with a different concept, a different approach, or something of the sort.
Yeah. Has the pandemic played a role in any of this, or is it maybe just structural issues with the companies?
Well, before I answer that too, as Samantha was talking about us working along with our financial institution partners, some of them, from the minute you get your, let's say, your loan, you can have a savings plan with them. And so every month you're saving towards, let's just say, in the event you have a pandemic situation kicks in, where you have maybe $75,000 saved through the savings plan, and that can kick in and cover your loan payments.
Right.
So yes, some entrepreneurs did experience either closure or restricted working hours because of, you know, health restrictions or whatever. But I would say that we've come up with programs at different points of time to help them in, you know, in times of distress, or through our financial institution partners kicked in with some savings plans or some deferral
Yes.
agreements where for maybe 6 months, the client doesn't have to make any loan payments. So we've been very creative in terms of helping clients not go over the edge of the cliff.
Okay. All right. Some more text messages here. Somebody saying, would you allow two businesses that started off by themselves to go to form a partnership under one loan, or do they have to come in for a new and structure a new policy? I guess I'm paraphrasing a lot here. It's a lot of.
Okay, so there are lots of things I don't understand
Yeah,
with
I'm
that.
not too
Like the
sure.
two businesses, are they both owned by the same parties?
Doesn't seem so.
Okay, no. So then you have different individuals involved, and so there are different considerations, obviously, because of the different individuals. Because banks don't just look at the business credit history, but also the personal credit history, and that can weigh into whether or not the loan is approved.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There was another one there. Let me take a look at that one there. All right. So this person was asking about how do we get started? Like, what do they need to do?
Okay, so simply, well, we're at the tail end of our summer entrepreneurship training series, but that would have been an excellent opportunity to learn about entrepreneurship, not from consultants, but from other entrepreneurs who can tell you from their personal experience the do's and don'ts. We have some bonus sessions left until the end of October, so if they want, it's not too late to sign up and participate. We also have our Sustainable Business Pitch Competition on September 27th, so you can come to that event to see what it's like for an entrepreneur to pitch their business to investors and lenders. Outside of that, you can visit our website, www.accessaccelerator.org. There's an orange button that says Join Now. It's as simple as clicking that, giving us your name,
Can't miss
and a means of contact, a phone number, email address, and you're in.
All right. And that pitch competition, that's going to be at
John
John
Watling's, September 27th, and we're going to kick it off a little different with a cocktail reception starting at 5:30, and the actual pitch competition will start between 6:30 and it will end at 8:30. And as we were talking during the break, so the last global business pitch competition, we had 37 people apply. This one was 51. So we want to.
That grew from when you were here on
Exactly.
Wednesday. What was it on
Exactly.
Wednesday? It was up to.
It was 31.
So we went up by 20.
Exactly.
Since then. Okay.
Right. So we want to accommodate more competitors this time. So we're thinking maybe 8 or 9 competitors, but it means that we're going to make it a little bit challenging for everyone. So rather than you having 5 minutes to pitch, 3 minutes to pitch.
Wow.
So within that 3 minutes, you need to sell us why your business should be the winner for the competition.
Okay. All right. And for the judges, that'll be the first time they're hearing, or will they have the material as well too?
So the judges will have access to your business plans at
Okay.
least a week before the pitch. But bear in mind, it's a pitch competition. So judges have said, even though I may peruse the plan, I'm coming to the pitch to see who can articulate it and defend it.
Yeah.
Because when I ask questions about the plan, you need to be able to defend it.
Okay. All right. So a lot of exciting things always going on.
Can I add our
Yes.
title sponsor for
Yes.
that is Fidelity Bank. And
Yes.
it's $10,000.
That's right. Yeah, we
Yes.
heard about that
Right.
last week.
Yes.
And there
Yes.
might be, as you said last time, there were angel investors that
Yes.
they might add on to that as well.
Exactly. And we're expecting 5 or 6 of them.
Wow.
Yes.
So never a dull moment over these 4 years.
Never.
So how are you going to top this? What are you going to see? What are you going to do for 5th anniversary, 10th anniversary, 15th anniversary? What can we expect?
We're gearing up for our 5th year as we speak. But listen, I agree with you. I think for us, it's really about focusing and enhancing our institutional capacity. So we know over the 4 years, it has not always been champagne and roses, right? We know that there have been some pain points, some gaps in our process, and we've been working diligently to streamline our process, to be more quick in our responses, strengthening our relationships with our strategic partners, our financial institutions, so that we can enhance our service delivery to our clients and to the public. So our focus too then is 1, from institutional capacity, but then 2, also advocacy, right? So currently we don't have an official definition of MSMEs. And so we want to be able to incorporate whatever legislative or policy frameworks to better and more enhance an enabling environment
Wow.
for MSMEs.
That's interesting.
To survive, to
Texter
thrive.
is asking for not just that, but for a definition of a successful one. Or
So all of
successful
that,
ones.
yes.
Of those.
So as we continue on our journey, these are some of the things that we really want to make sure that we are impacting our communities and our nation from a wider level. And I think having those types of frameworks, making sure that it is defined, will help us.
Yeah.
Obviously, benchmarking where we've seen this done in the past, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel here. We want to make sure that it works best for us here in the Bahamas. But those are some of the key things that we are definitely going to top over the next couple of years. I can assure you of that.
Okay.
And without letting anything out of the bag, we have a press mixer this morning at 11 a.m. and some announcements will be made then as well.
All right. Wonderful stuff.
Sounds
Looking
like you
forward
need to be
It sounds
there.
like I do need to be there. All right. All right. So this is going to be great.
Yes.
Thank you, and thank you for taking us along this journey. It's been fun, and hopefully we'll be doing a lot more of this over the next few months, years. And
Thank you.
happy anniversary to all of you.
Thank you.
And I hope
you
you see yourself as a partner of Access
Absolutely.
Accelerator, getting the
Absolutely.
word out there.
Absolutely. We
Thank
love
you.
these twice monthly segments, and like I said, we need to do them. This is your office too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Samantha Rolle, Phyllice Bethel, always a pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you all today
Yes.
and again next month.
Yes.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break here on Morning Blend Business. We'll be back. Stay with us.